Salvete. So we're going to continue with verbs. We're going to be looking at the present tense now. I just want to talk first, though, about how I'm going to organize this presentation of verbs. I'm going to go through first all the tenses that we use in each conjugation. And you can see how in some conjugations the spelling changes, and in some conjugations it doesn't. But I think this will be good for you to see what each conjugation looks like in each tense. So I'm going to go by tenses. And I'm going to be doing all active first. After that, I'm going to be arranging the same verbs in a chart so you can see how all the verbs look next to each other, and the chart's organized according to time. And then after I do all the actives, then I will show you all the passives as well. And then after that, we'll take a look at the other moods, such as the imperative and the infinitive and the subjunctive and the participle. So that's going to be how this goes. So on the present tense, go ahead and look at this paper. It looks like this. We're going to go ahead and use porto for our first word, which is I carry, porto. And in the dictionary this would appear porto, portare, portavi, portatus. And it does mean carry. And verbs don't have gender, right? It's only nouns. And this is a first conjugation. So notice I've got conjugations 1, 2, 3, 4 in the present tense. Now I have it arranged like this with first person, second, third, and then first, second, third. That's singular and plural. Okay? And I'm going to put the pronouns down just to start, but you don't need the pronouns because the endings really do the job for you. So in first person, it's ego, right? Ego. And if you want to say I carry, you'd say ego, move that a little bit here, ego porto. I'm not going to worry about all my long marks and stuff, although it is long in this one, but I'm not going to be doing it all the time. If you carry, it's tu portas. Now let me explain how I get this from up here. The ego form is always first, the first person singular in the present tense. So porto, it's right there. To get my other endings, I have to look at my infinitive form. In the present tense, all of the other forms besides the first person singular form come from this infinitive form. So this is my important one for the present tense, portare. And the way you get what's called the verb stem is you remove the re, and that gives you the stem. So I get porta, and then I have a set of endings for the present tense which indicate the person and number for each one. And they go like this. They go sometimes M, sometimes O, O, S, and they're going to go T, moose, tis, unt. So let's do all those. And those you just have to know or memorize. And hopefully you know them because they make sense. But if you don't, you can memorize them. Third person would be like is or ella, he or she, or id really, or it. And that would be por, here's my stem, porta, and then you add a T. That's my ending, portat. Caecilius portat. You can put a name in there, or you don't even have to put a pronoun in there. First person plural would be nos, which is we. And that's nos porta, there's my stem, and the ending is mus. For second person, it's vos, that's you plural, you singular, you plural. Porta, and the ending is tis, portatis. And for third person, you say ae, or ai, they, or they feminine, and it's porta, and it's nt, portant, portant. So the way it works is the first one is porto, it's right there, and then you use the stem, porta, and you add the endings ost, moose, tis, nt. Okay? And I used to have a little song with my keyboard, which I don't have here, that I would play for classes, and it would go, sometimes M is the first person, it would go M-O-S-T, moose, tis, nt, M-O-S-T, moose, tis, nt, and it had a little melody that went along with it, and a lot of fun. I can tell you're excited about it. So that is the present tense in the first conjugation. Now the other conjugations are going to work in the same principle, but they're going to have different connecting vowels between the stem and the endings. So I'm going to go through these kind of quickly, okay? So for our second conjugation, we're going to say habeo. That's a second conjugation. Okay, so we got habeo. And second conjugations always have an EO there in the first one. And then habere, long E. Habui is the perfect tense. And habitus. That means to have. And so it's going to, habeo is going to be right there. Habeo. That's ego habeo. I'm not going to put the ego this time. Ego habeo. And then now to get the other stems, you take off the re off the infinitive form. And you then you add your endings. Okay, so it's going to be habe is our stem. Habe. And so it's O-S-T, moose, tis, nt. Habes, two habes. Is or a habet, Caecilius habet. Nos, habemus. Vos, habetis. And they are E-A-E, habent. Habent. So here's my endings, right? O-S-T, moose, tis, nt. And habe is my stem. That's second conjugation. Long E is second, long A is first. With a third, we'll do duco. Duco, I lead. And now it's not ducere, it's ducere, as this E is short. That makes it third. Duxi, ductus. That means to lead. Okay? And the first one's going to be duco. Ego duco, I lead. And now something happens in our other forms that makes things a little bit different. That's why I'm showing you each conjugation. Ducere, since that E is short, you take off the RE, but that E being short, it just falls away and it turns into an I in this conjugation. So the way this works is you take off the RE, but instead of getting duces, it's ducis. Because that E is weak, and then it turns into an I. So it's ego duco, tu ducis, right? Tu scribis. Okay, that's another third conjugation. Maybe that sounds familiar. Dicus, dico dicus, dico dicere, say is another one. Okay? So third person would be he or she ducit. You still keep this I going on here. And then ducimus, we lead. Nos ducimus. Vos ducitis, you lead. And then something happens in the last one. It's not an I, it's a U. It's not ducint, it's ducunt, because that just sounds better, I guess. So it's ducunt. So you might notice my endings are the same. O-S-T, moose, tis, nt, okay? But my connecting vowels, even though it's an E in the infinitive, they change to I's here and a U because the E was short and weak. And some people call this the I-O-U conjugation because the I's and the O and the U appear in it. If that's helpful for you, then just go with that. Okay, I'm going to stop there because we got to